Hi there VC, Steve Whitty here. It's Thursday morning, sun is shining. It's I thought I'd do a new video before I start my day's work, start the commute. Yes, it's a bit surreal. So this video, one I've got planned. I'd seen a thread floating around, people showing their favourite bands from London, Manchester, wherever. So I've decided I'm going to do 15 bands from Birmingham. I might have mentioned in my last video about the give me 10 hard rock albums, 70 to 70, 1970s, 1980, about Judas Priest, and sort of like people think they're from Birmingham, but in fact they're from the Black Country. Excuse me. Cup of tea. So they're not featured because of the fact they're from West Bromwich. So I said I've got 15 bands from Birmingham to show, and they are in order. They're all mixed. Birmingham gets overlooked a lot in the pantheon of British rock and pop history, but there were a fair few fine bands that came out of there. They were very successful bands as well. So number 15, I've gone for Wizard. This is the album Eddie and the Falcons. Really, I could have done with having a best of, because really Wizard were a singles band formed by Roy Wood after he left Electric Light Orchestra. It very much pop orientated. The singles were, I mean, they did Wizard Brew, which is very proggy, and this album's very much, you can see from the cover, it harks back to old time rock and roll. Number 14, I've gone for the Spencer Davis Group. This is their second album, which used to belong to Kathy. You can tell it's early in the morning. I'm just not quite with it yet. Yes, this has got Keep On Running on it, Georgia on My Mind. They had a couple of number one singles. Around this time, Birmingham was starting to get sort of noticed a little bit more for the music scene. It's sort of like 63, 64. Very missed out a little bit. Spencer Davis, obviously best known members, Steve Winwood, who went on to form Traffic afterwards, and Muff, his brother, went on to be quite a big producer, Big Cheese at Island Records. Number 13, it's the only CD, it's probably the most modern group I've got. It's The Streets. Mikey Skinner is from Birmingham. No, he's sort of based out of London. I do class him as a Birmingham act. When you hear him speak, he is you can tell he's from Birmingham. This is their biggest album. Grand Don't Come For Free. It contained the number one hit, it was Dry Your Eyes. Really heart-wrenching song actually. But absolutely corking album. And they've just gone back together. He's recording some more stuff for them. Right, some might find this next choice could be quite controversial. Number 12, UB40. This is their brilliant signing off debut album. It's up there with one of the best British reggae albums of all time. However, and I did enjoy, especially the first few albums, however, what put me off at UB40 more, while Labour of Love was such a big hit for them, album for them, then they went on that direction, and they almost, towards the end, before they had the big split when they went bankrupt, just become a karaoke band. Plus the fact, I think Ali Campbell's comes across as a bit of I'm trying to, without swearing, comes across as a bit of an idiot. In all this, so it sort of knocks it down a little bit. There might, a few years ago, there might have been a bit higher, but I think things have changed. At number 12. At number 11, Duran Duran. A few years ago, this would never have come into my radar. I think when I started really buying records and listening to music again, you suddenly then, I think, appreciate it, what it is. This album's an absolute corking album. I was listening to it over the weekend, actually. And there's elements of everything in here. Yes, they were a pop band and they knew their target. They wanted success. They never. You watched the documentary, BBC documentary about them. They were never shy of what they wanted. They wanted the glamour as well. But they also wrote some corking tunes. And on this album, things like New Religion, Chauffeur, they really are good. I mean, and then Rio's just a perfect pop song, and the video that went with it just, to me, sums the 80s, aspirational, you know, being the yacht, the suits, everything. The girls, you know, it's just it's sort of like targeted what everybody wanted. The 70s were drab, and you know, suddenly people had the gap. In a way, groups like that gave colour to the world. At number 10, I've gone for. Oh, there's a bit of glare here. Moody Blues. In a sense, Moody Blues, two bands. When they first came out, it was very much R&B based. You know, Go Now had a number one hit with that in '65. Sort of struggled to follow it up, and in a way, they were listing. I was watching the documentary on them a few weeks back, and yeah, they were seriously drifting as a band, and I suppose they just went with their own way in the end. I had a bit of luck that at that time they had a record label that said, "Yeah, go on, we'll let you have a go with recording an orchestra," and that sort of picked up, particularly in America. They're massive in America. Still going now in one form or the other, even though I think everyone's pretty much retired, apart from Justin Hayward and John Lodge. John Lodge is from, and Graham Edwards from Erlington, where my mum was, and it's only down the road from me. Number 9, Ocean Colour Scene. I think towards the late 90s, this band I played a lot of. The 3 albums that came out, this, as I just mentioned, 3 albums, I've forgotten the other 2, but I was playing this band constantly towards the late 90s. I really enjoyed their music, and I picked this up a couple of years ago when it got reissued. It's a really good album. They're a good band. They got accused of being called what's known as dad rock, because it, you know, something your dad would listen to, but there's nothing wrong with that. It was far superior to quite a lot of the stuff that was going on at the time. I preferred this over the Spice Girls. Number 8, Number 8, I've gone for Dexy's Midnight Runners, and I've shown this debut album, Searching for the Young Soul Rebels, because this is probably the most Birmingham album of the lot. They came out of Birmingham. Kevin Rowland was based at the time, and he was still living in Birmingham. I'm not sure where he lives in Birmingham anymore now. But yes, this is just a classic 1980s album. Went on obviously to have huge success with Touré and Come On Eileen. And then be his want would then throw some curveballs into his career, but this is just a corking album. Any of the first 3 Dexys albums are worth having. Right. 7, and this is a band I have got a soft spot for. Magnum. Managed to see these about 2 or 3 times. This is sort of like their comeback album on A Storyteller's Night, released in 1985. Tony Clarke and Bob Catley really are the mainstays of the band. Been with them through thick and thin. Been going on 40 years. Never been up there right at the big time, at top of the back, but always had a devoted following. Still recording, still touring, still play symphony. Excuse me. Still can play Symphony Hall. They did a live album from there. Played the Town Hall in Birmingham. Still got a demand, particularly in Germany. I believe Germany, they're very popular. So Magnum. I believe this is number 6. And when I was talking about UB40 being up there with the debut album, being up there with the best British reggae album. This just slightly tips it. It's Steel Pulse, number 6. What was it, number? Yeah, Steel Pulse and Handsworth Revolution. Never quite lived up to this album, but still carrying on, still making records. This is just a really corking bit of realist reggae. It's sort of like signposted at times in the 70s. So, Steel Pulse. Number 5, the beat, or the English beat, depending where you're watching me from. Coming out of the Two-Tone, but were quickly snapped up by Arista after Tears of the Clown was a hit single for them. And this album's just really is a corking album. I just can't stop it. Yeah, he's just really it sort of sums them up a bit. I mean, they had most of the hit singles off here. Mirror in the Bathroom, a song about mental illness, Hands Off She Mine, Twist and Crawl, Best Friends on here, Can't Get Used to You, Losing You, which was the last hit single they had, which was released right at the end of their career. Yeah, really a really great band, sort of underrated at the time. I think people sort of appreciate it, especially when they split up into 2 with Rankin Roger, bless him, and Dave Wakeley. And he was supposed to be playing in July in the UK. Whether that's going to happen, I don't know. At 4, and I picked this out because I think this represents sort of like a Birmingham supergroup. It's The Move. A lot of hype went with The Move. And so, the original Move, Roy Wood, Carl Wayne, Trevor Burton, Ace Kefford, Bev Bevan. A lot of hype. They had manager Tony Secunda. They would do things like smash televisions up on stage. They signed a contract on the back of a topless model. It did bite them in the bum big time because when they had issued Flowers in the Rain, they basically it depicted a new cartoon of then Prime Minister Harold Wilson and his personal secretary. I've forgotten her name at the moment, and he sued, and basically he won, but he made sure that all the royalties go to charity from this record. So every time this record is played on the Flowers in the Rain is played on the radio, Roy Wood does not see a penny of it, much to his chagrin. He never forgave Secunda for this. They moved on to a more rockier vein, and by the time when Jeff Lynne came in, the seeds were sown for Electric Light Orchestra, which, funny enough, they are my number 3 favourite band from Birmingham. John Lennon famously said if the Beatles were had been still together in the 70s, they'd have sounded like ELO. And Jeff Lynne took his vision. He obviously got Bev Bevan along with him. Roy Wood, when they started with Roy Wood, there was a clash. Roy Wood wanted to be more experimental. I think Jeff Lynne wanted a bit more more of the songs, and which was strange when Roy Wood left to form Wizard. Wizard was a perfect pop band, but this was very much, there was especially in the early to mid 70s, a lot of there was a lot to please the rock fan, but a lot to please the pop fan as well, and the tunes are just wonderful. In fact, he's still going with it. In fact, I think he realised what a brand he got with Electric Light Orchestra, and the fact they still sell it. He can still release albums, sell stadiums, gigs, play festivals with it. Just absolutely wonderful. At number 2, I've gone for Traffic. This was the super, and again, this is turned a super group. Steve Winwood had tired a little bit of the pop merry-go-round with Spencer Davis. They'd done a film with Nicholas Parsons. It wasn't quite what he was going for, and he was still a young man. He was only 16, 17. But he met up at the Elbow Room with the likes of Jim Capaldi, Chris Wood, and Dave Mason. And they talked about forming, getting a band together. They're the original Let's Go in the Country band. They went out to Birmingham, hired a cottage, and basically made music there. And first couple of albums with Mason in are wonderful. And then Winwood left to join Blind Faith, and they came back together, and they went in a slightly different direction. It was a bit more, but this is just a wonderful group. Underrated in my opinion. I do think they get missed out a little bit of the late 70s groups, late 70s, late 60s, early 70s band. Okay, I'm about to number 1. You probably might have guessed, and I think really, when I was deciding which was my favourite band, I wanted a band that sort of represents Birmingham for what it is. And Birmingham was at the time an industrial city. It's a rough city. It's a dour place. The accent is dour. There's nothing, we get mocked about our accents, and I've got quite a posh, and I'm from the posh area. So that band to me, Black Sabbath, my favourite band from Birmingham. It is Birmingham on a piece of plastic, and they where everyone's going about peace and love. This is a band from Aston where they've still got bomb sites and slum housing, and if you looked at a person the wrong way, you'd get a good kick in. This really is Birmingham, as I said, Birmingham, and as probably of Birmingham groups, like went on to worldwide success. A lot of these bands I've showed went on to worldwide success. This is why Birmingham's such an influential place, in my opinion. And they probably also, they were innovators. No band I've shown, apart from this, has really created a genre. And that opening track on here is heavy metal. That's the template for it. And that's why Black Sabbath are my favourite band from Birmingham. There you go, VC. I wonder what you think of that. Yes. Put the records away, and I'm going to start working about half hour. If you're new to the channel and you like what you see, click on the subscribe button. Still getting some subscribers. The more the merrier. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Love the interaction. Feel free to comment and we'll get back to you. I'm pretty much up to date with my comments. Just got one to catch up on that was left on my last video, and I do appreciate people watching the videos. I've been spending a lot of time catching up on videos. It's the escape I wanted from from the news. Just to avoid all that. Things getting you down. So what I get up to, and I might do a video tomorrow, I might do one Saturday, I might do one Sunday, I don't know, whatever the muse do. So whatever you get up to, VC, make sure it's a good one. Look after yourselves. Keep spinning. More importantly, keep smiling.